real Scott Jones is here today.
That's right. The real Scott Jones, please stand up. That's
Yes.
me.
How was your birthday on Sunday?
My birthday, well, I worked. I chose to work on Sunday because, my kids are all out of town and I don't have a lot going on. So I actually got to spend my day working with some people in a treatment center, some young people who are trying to get sober. And it actually turned out to be a really good thing because somebody had went into seizures and I knew what to do. And so it was good. But spending my time with people who were just getting it and just waking up and coming out of the haze. It was one of the better birthdays I've ever spent. I'm going to tell you that right now. So
and there's our number one fan.
Hey, Scott Ricard. He was on the show last night with me and Gary. So thanks for joining us, Scott.
Awesome. So today we have some awesome guys with us today.
Yeah, I know. We got a whole motley crew down here. I could see them in the waiting room just chomping at the bit, ready to get in here.
I know. You wanna bring them up? You can bring them up from your point, right?
Well, who are we going to start with?
I don't know. Who are we going to start with?
Well, I think we're going to start with Scott Schilling, the elder statesman.
Yes, there you go.
Ow.
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I meant that in a good way.
That sucks. No.
Elder statesman has nothing to do with age. It's got to do with years and mileage, my friend. And you've got the years and the mileage, don't you?
Good coverage. Good coverage.
How are you today?
I'm fabulous. I'll get better, though.
Oh, okay. Better than fabulous. All right. And, of course, we've got can't forget this guy, Bob Donnell, coming in.
Hey there. Hey, guys.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Just fine, man. Just fine. And finally, we have also waiting in the wings. I don't know if anybody else is coming in later, but we have Steve Rizzo with us.
Hello, everyone.
A new addition to our motley crew over the last few weeks, but it's good to have him here. And he wrote his whole book about talking to Bob Donnell. So that's not what it is.
Why, you just gave it away. What is wrong with you?
I know. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert.
I got Bob's book around here, too.
That was
and I just heard the doorbell.
Yeah, the doorbell just rang. Go ahead, oh no, I'll do this.
That was Bob.
This is our friend. Now, please don't let the New Jersey accent throw you. He's actually from Kansas. This is Barry Selby. Barry, how are you?
Hey Scott, long time no see. Listen, they've been gone forever.
I you know what? I've been on the road so much, and it's a blessing that I've been on the road. Have a great opportunity to work with a lot of fantastic people, especially first responders. And that's just building and growing. So, but I'm going to try to, as much as I can, to keep my Tuesday nights free. Trust me, I would rather have been here than sitting in an airport that night. So,
I understand, yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, thanks for what you're doing, by the way.
House in the audience.
Flo,
which it's we have an overflow of guests in this show sometime, and I'm putting pressure to that man, Mr. Scott Schilling, there, because soon I can't wait to do a lot more with our show. That's all I'm going to say. It's pressure on that man right there.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Well, how many people are going to have on here?
Well,
we could take 9 right now.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying in the future we'll be able to have, actually, if people want to come in, and Scott, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Schilling, but we'll be able to actually have our audience come and ask questions and be in our audience and not just in Messenger.
Yep. There's all sorts of different things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and then it'll like
in the future,
Lynn. Yeah, PDFs and stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I'll stop.
In the future, stop.
But
jeez, you're giving away the.
That's why I'm rambling, because we got to find some balance.
Yeah, but
guys.
You know what? Even the Brady's figured out 9 was enough. That's why they got rid of the freaking dog.
Oh, damn, that hurts.
Oh my goodness.
So
I'm gonna put Bob here as a center square. So there you go.
Keeps on getting moved around.
Yeah, we are gonna go moving around here. So anyhow, Scott, you brought this topic up, and what you want to start the topic?
Well, yeah, I brought the topic up, finding balance, because we spend a lot of time talking about different areas of life and self-improvement, and you guys work in areas of business and relationships, and going to the next level, which is just like, that's kind of like, that comes across my mind so often, just that phrase about moving to the next level, Bob. I appreciate it. I'm using it in my everyday business now. It's like, this is a pain in the ass, but it's the next level. So this is a good thing. So I just got to buy your damn book and read it. Has the movie come out yet?
Now the 7-part video series has.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm waiting for the movie. You get Michael Caine to play it. He'll play anything.
There you go.
But
Cockney Bob.
There goes that accent.
I have this thing. It's that we're always talking about this stuff, but it seems fragmented. And finding balance, I find myself, or I used to spend a lot of time walking around trying to say, I was thinking of balance as time instead of balance as inner balance. And there's times when I'm going to spend more time at work, but that doesn't mean I'm out of balance. It's about the balance inside where my intentions lie with everything that I do and what I'm applying, the things I'm doing towards. There are times when I don't spend as much time with my family as I would like to, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's out of balance because the things I do allow that time to happen. So I'd really like to talk about not so much that balance that most people think of 6 hours here means 6 hours there, or this effort means that effort, but more the inner balance of we're at peace and knowing that we're doing the right things at the right times. Does that make sense, guys?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I don't think we talk enough about that, is finding that inner balance. Because listen, my balance is different than somebody else's balance. I could work 6 or 7 days a week sometimes, and I'm in perfect balance because what I'm doing lends itself to so many other areas of my life. So I don't know. I guess maybe your thoughts, people, Lynn, Scott, Steve, Bob, Barry, and whoever else is going to be jumping in. Where did you find that inner balance for yourselves? Because obviously to have made it this far and to do the things you all do and write the books and do all of that, you had to have found it somewhere. And at what point did that become less about physical, more about your emotional state and your motivations? That's where my question lies. Hopefully that makes sense.
Makes great sense.
I want to add to that to say, thing is this is where you have to take that time with yourself, by yourself, have those hard conversations of what do you want? What makes you happy? What makes you tick? What's your purpose? That's where all these questions, they're facing you all the time. You're not going to be happy until you have these inner dialogues in order to know where you want to be and what, and experimenting in life, you realize you're being pulled here, there, everywhere. And, you're trying to make everyone happy. But if you're not making yourself happy, you're certainly going to make everyone else miserable. So I just wanted to add that to the mix. So whoever wants to go first, let me know.
Jump in the pool, gentlemen. It's full of piranhas and ready
Scott.
for you. Scott Schillings.
Well,
the man without fear. Go for it.
That's right. It just so happens I wrote a book.
It just so happens
that I wrote a book that a fair amount of the concept of the book is about about balance and actually the finding purposeful imbalance to be balanced. And what I mean by that is 7 areas of life, spiritual, physical, financial, blah, blah, blah. But what most people try to do is they try to multitask and they try to play in all areas of life at all areas of time. And so they're very inefficient in any of them. And quite frankly, I have found, at least for me, I was not very fulfilled when I was trying to be everywhere and everything to everybody at the same time. And so in the book, That Sucks What Now, I write about the acronym BALANCE. And the B is belief in higher source, align yourself professionally, live a healthy lifestyle, achieve financial freedom, nurture your relationships, contribution beyond self, educate yourself consistently. It's about balance. But purposeful imbalance, meaning whenever I'm in one of those categories, if I'm in my spiritual pursuit, belief in higher source, then be there 100% until I complete that and then come back to center and then go into my work pursuit. or go into my financial pursuit or whatever it might be. But what we try to do is, we're a 2 here, we're a 4 there, we're a 6 there, we're a 12 in social, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately we're so out of balance chasing balance. Well, why not be where your feet are? Why not get back to the center? If you're doing business, do business. And when it's not business time, come back to center and then be with your family or invest wherever you're investing. And so for me personally, the way I found greater fulfillment and greater success was really by focusing where I was at that moment, being present in that time. Bob Donnell and I have had lots of conversations, and he's a master at this. He's phenomenal in his teachings with the whole next level by association, with being present. Be where you are, and it's amazing how balanced you'll be.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Let me ask you a question to follow up on that, Scott. Just real quick, though. I totally get what you're saying about being in the present, and that kind of focus and everything allows you to do better anyway. But do you believe there also should be an understanding of how these things mesh together while you're doing that? Does that help to the balance to understand that they're all connected, even though we keep them fragmented in a certain sense? But that understanding of my work allows me to do other things, and this allows me to do that. So it's important to understand the relationship between all those things and not leave them completely fragmented. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. The fact is, how you do anything is how you do everything. So
Right.
when you put it all together, again, in the nurture relationships portion, the N in balance, I talk about, a bridge. You can put trees across a river and tie them together. You've got a bridge, but it's very weak because of the lashing. But if it's 100%, and now you lash, now it's impenetrable.
Right.
So it's understanding all the core values that go into it, the major beliefs, the mission, all those things are all part of it, and they all need to be congruent in words, actions, and deeds as you go along. So yes, it is the intertwining of them all.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, he called you out, Bob, so I guess you got to jump in on this. Your name comes up. It's going to happen, people.
I'm not sure if he was calling me out or calling Steve's friend out.
Oh.
We got two Scots, two Bobs.
He's going to use God as a scapegoat now. This is really
friend Bob is everybody's friend Bob.
Well, so is my Bob. My Bob Donnell is everybody's friend. He's Mr. Connector over here with Scott.
He is everybody's friend. I agree, both. Scott, great points. Both of you made some really great points. I think the biggest concern I have with people talking about balance is the only thing that I know is truly balanced is
Your checkbook.
death. No,
Is what?
Death. It's death.
Oh.
The doctor comes in and your monitor is showing that your heart is beating. That's out of balance. But when the minute it shows balance, you're dead.
Right.
It's called flatline.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to really get clear on what balance is. And I'm glad you started off with that, Jonesy, is because you brought up kind of the meaning, the definition of it. I think one of the biggest things for me with balance is to realize that there is an ebb and flow. It is high and it is a low. That's the balance. It's not the one level.
Yeah.
And then to realize that is for our benefit. It's for our enjoyment, if you will, even though we don't enjoy it most of the time. It's for the benefit of ourselves to realize the differences, the highs and the lows. It is to our benefit to realize that that life is made up of a lot of different things. And if we had to do the same thing every day, all day, with no variation, literally no variation, we would be absolutely bored. But this idea of balance sometimes just gets so confusing for people that I've worked with, at least in the last 30 years, because they've got this misnomer of what it is and what it's not. So I think identifying it is first. And then the second part of that is for us to realize it's for our benefit. And then the third part is to say, okay, I can be, like Scott said, I can be in my coaching 100%. It doesn't mean that the rest of my life does not exist.
Right.
And once we realize that they can all exist and one's not getting shorted, if we're doing it, then I think we're in a better place to become more balanced and to help others live a balanced type of life, but being out of balance. And I loved it. What did it say? Purposeful imbalance to find balance. Loved it.
Well, it's funny because I think a lot of people think of balance as like that flat oval track. And if you were expecting to go on a roller coaster and they put you in a car and it was a flat oval track that just went around, was perfectly circular or perfectly oval, perfectly flat, perfect speed, I wouldn't be getting in line to go on that sucker again. I want to go on a roller coaster with ebbs and valleys and peaks and surprises and all of that stuff. And at the end, I get a complete ride. And I think that's kind of where I was kind of going. And you gentlemen were definitely putting a better point on it than I did, is that at different times I'm in different phases and in different places, but the complete ride is where the balance is. The balance is not in every moment I have to pay attention to everything.
Amen.
It's that everything connects and I move in and out of them as need be. And guess what? I don't even get to choose what that's going to be. My customers might choose that. My kids will choose that when they need me. My health will choose that. All those things get chosen for me. But at the end, I get a complete ride on a roller coaster. And I'll tell you what, if it jerks me around enough, I want to do it again.
And that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. That's where we have to take note and take stock of what we're experiencing and speaking about those experiences and what they mean to you and where they place in your life, to find your own balance and to find your purpose and to find where you need to be, when you want to be, and how to be.
Absolutely.
So
who's next?
I think Mr. Barry.
All right. Barry.
Okay.
Hi, Barry.
I know you're ready. Just go.
Hi.
No, for me, I was going to counterpoint that, because what you were saying, Scott, I actually want to go the other direction, which is that for me, what balance is about is like the pivot point on the seesaw is the center point. That's the piece that keeps things working back and forward. It doesn't stop it from moving, but it creates a sense of balance within that place. So even when things go up and down, there's a place of balance. That pivot point is our presence. So I feel that a lot of times, yes, spiritual practice for me is one of the big keys, because that's outside of any positive, negative. It's neutral. Spirituality is spirituality. In my master's program, we talked about how the physical, mental, and emotional levels are all connected. So when you have changed one, the other two got changed to fit it. But spirituality is beyond that. It doesn't have a positive or negative experience. It just is. So that pivot point and that presence we bring allows all the stuff that happens around us to still be in balance, because we are in balance inside.
Right. So you can consider us being the middle of that.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
that's, again, pivot point is the center of the seesaw, ideally, otherwise it doesn't always stuck one way, But the other part also is thinking about, how do you know when you're not in balance? Oftentimes is when you start falling into bad habits or distractions, as Scott said earlier, those things that pull us away from our centeredness and also pull us out of alignment to who we really are. So oftentimes people who are dealing with addictions or with habitual patterns have to look at it and go, okay, is that what I really want? How can I get back to center again? So there's a course correction that can happen as well.
So you would be the center. You would be the pivot point. That it's your true self is at that pivot point. And when your true self moves away from that, that's when you're off balance. Doesn't mean you're not going back and forth from other sides, right?
Well, the thing is, when we're in balance, we can play on both sides, but we don't lose track of where we are or who we are.
Okay.
When we get pulled over and out of balance fully, that's when we lose track of ourselves, in a sense.
I like that. I like that. I got to bring you in to speak to some of my kids that are just getting sober, and they just don't. They're all over the place. They don't know how to find anything, and it's really tough sometimes to look at somebody who thinks that the end all and be all of their existence is heroin, and to say there's so much more. It's really, really hard to show them these kind of things that we talk about, and to say this stuff. These conversations will light you up in your recovery. I promise you. But it's hard to bring it to them in the first place.
Well, so one of the things is the challenge also is those chemical highs are so mind blowing that nothing comes close in reality, which unfortunately is the challenge. Is that you just like, how do you find that joy, that high in life itself? That takes a bit of work.
It does. It does. But I do find finishing a New York Times crossword puzzle on a Sunday morning in pen comes close. It comes close. In pen, people.
In
Yes, I get it.
What do you say,
I'll take
Steve?
the Papermate pen, please.
Ooh.
What do you say, Steve?
Well, thank you for asking. I think the core of the problem to imbalance is that most of us, especially in this country, have we're so caught up in trying to make a living that we've forgotten what it's like to live. We have stifled our core values on the way to what we think is success. We are not nourishing our souls enough. Someone had asked me, what's the biggest lesson I learned in my life? And I would have to say that what you think you want in life may not necessarily be what you need in order to be happy. For the most part, what you want feeds the ego. What you need feeds your soul. And every now and then, I think we have to stop and ask ourselves, which one am I feeding now? And this imbalance I think, is at the core of unhappiness because we don't know what we're doing to ourselves. And it's funny that we have this topic because I did a lot of studies for my book, Motivate This. And there's a chapter in there called Nourishing Your Soul. And finding balance, first of all, you have to be aware that something's wrong. You can't fix something unless you know something's wrong. You can't fix something unless you know something's broken. So I did some studies with some very high-end people. I'm not going to mention their names, but you would look at them as the ultimate success story. And one of the guys was voted best salesman of the year 3 years in a row. And we had a talk. And I asked him some questions, and I said, how does it make you feel? You must feel really successful. And he had a hard time answering that. And I said, well, and I egged on. And we come to the core of the problem is that he knew he was successful, but he didn't feel fulfilled. And there's a big difference there. So we talked, and I said,
Can you repeat that little part? There was a blip.
I'm sorry? Yeah, it cut out for just a second. Repeat what he said again.
He said he knew he was successful. He was on it 3 times in Hawaii on the company's big gathering, and he was voted. He was only in his late 20s, and he was voted Salesman of the Year 3 times in a year. And he said, yes, I feel successful, but I don't feel fulfilled. Oh, okay. And I think that's a huge difference. And if you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not successful. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make. Everyone could look at you as the ultimate success story. But if you're not happy, you're not successful. So we got into the problem, and he said, well, what was it? And he said, I don't know. And I said to him, I said, yes, you do know. I said, think about it. There's something missing in your life. What is it that you were doing before you even got in this position? And then he thought, and we came to the conclusion that he wasn't honoring his core values. Number one was he loved hiking. He had a place where he lived where he would hike every weekend. And he stopped doing that because he felt he had to do extra work to keep up to be the best of the best. So he stopped doing that on weekends. And after a while, it sort of caught up with him. He said, oh, my God. He goes, now did you think? I think about it, Steve. I got up early in the morning. He goes, my ritual was to pray, was to meditate at 5 o'clock in the morning for 45 minutes before he did anything. He goes, I don't know when the last time it was that I did that. So he wasn't honoring his core values. He wasn't nourishing his soul. He was so caught up in trying to make a living that he forgot what it was like to really live, which really nourished him. And the amazing thing about this is that it's really just a matter of making a slight shift. It's just a matter of creating a different type of a mindset to go back to what it was that juiced you, that gave you that sacred energy, dare I say sacred energy. And so he just made a commitment to himself to do the meditation, to do the prayers, and at least one day out of that weekend, he would do the hiking. And he realized that he didn't have to take that much time off to begin with. But when he found out what was missing, he just got back into the groove and he did it again. And he started living that life over again. I also know a woman who her ideal was to go up to the corporate ladder. And that required a lot of her time, she thought. But one thing was missing from this woman's life is that she had 2 little girls at home. And every time she went home, she realized that she wasn't the one tucking them in. And after about a year and a half, she realized she was missing something. She was missing something very sacred, very special. So she decided to tweak her life. And she realized, you know what? I don't have to take all this stuff home with me like I've been. I can still strive to get to the top, but yet I cannot ignore what's the most important thing for me. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They get so caught up in trying to make a living that they forget what it's like to live, to nourish the most important aspects of all of us. And that's nourishing your soul, your core values. It was just a matter of shifting her perspective on what she thought was important, finding that slight little balance. Now she's able to do both, and she's very successful.
Excellent points. Those are excellent points. You know, I mean, success cannot be gauged by the job we do, or else we'd all be chasing the same freaking job.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to do your jobs. I like mine. I like mine. Oh, my God. Look who's joined us, Lynn.
Teodora.
It is the most beautiful woman in the finance world. Yes.
I just felt like you guys were too balanced here. They're like, 6 people. They had to be. And Lynn was here by herself. So I was like, no, I got to help. I got to help Lynn. I got to jump and unbalance. Speaking of balance and finding balance, I just had to come and just throw a little rock in here so that it's not so comfortable.
She needed to throw some imbalance at our balance. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
It's not like I've never had a woman do that to me before.
We should talk, Scott.
That's a different show.
That's a different show. That's my
yeah. But Teodora, and look, if Flo's even say hello to Teodora.
Hello.
And we got Debbie out there too. So we've got Cynthia out there, and then I got from classmates trying to tell me I'm famous. Classmate. Oh my gosh.
Classmate from where? Syracuse?
Corcoran, 83.
Corcoran. Hey, yeah, Corcoran, 84. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm 84 and 83. I graduated a year early, so I'm part of your class. So yeah.
Nobody's part of my class. I'm classless. I have
That's
no
another
class.
show.
I've been told I have no class.
Hey, Scott gets no respect. What can I tell you? Hey.
Hey.
Wait. Do that one more time.
Hey, I'll tell you, I get no respect. The other day, I told my son to take out the garbage. He said, "You married her, you take her out."
Whoa. That's actually, I got to give it to you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That is the best Don Rickles I've ever heard. All right, let's. I'm kidding.
Oh man.
So funny.
So Teodora, do you want to chime in on this topic?
Yes, I think so many. Here are my thoughts, and if I'm wrong, I want to debate on this.
You're not wrong. This is how we all see it, my love.
This is how I see it. This is how I see it, and this is what I believe. I believe finding balance comes from within, but also so many people make the mistake to wait for somebody else to come balance them from all aspects of life. If we're talking about, again, I don't want to talk about this, but if you're talking about money, if we're talking about love, happiness, anything, especially money is what I see most. So many people come and think, oh, I'm going to get married and the finances are going to go together and then we're all good. Or, oh, I'm not happy until I'm going to find a soulmate and then I'm going to be happy. Or I'm not where I want to be until I do this work. And so it's unbalanced until it balances up here, I believe, because everything comes from there. And I recently had a huge success, humongous, something that it's so hard to believe that I made happen, but it all came in finding balance in my belief. I, for no second, did not believe that I'm going to succeed. And guess what? I did. And it comes with balance. It comes with belief. It comes with focus, commitment, and bullseye. including balance, including everything that we want to achieve. And I feel like so many people are just not where they want to be, but it's them, they need to get there. It's not, it doesn't come from outside, it doesn't come from anybody's help. They have to do it.
Yeah, you are the only problem you will ever have. And
Yes.
somewhere within you, there is a solution waiting to be discovered.
Amen. I mean, it's just like I also say to a bunch of people, I say, write your own story, write your own book. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know who feels good about paying a ghostwriter to write a book for them, but if that makes you happy to say you're an author, so be it. It's all different imbalances or balances or whatever, you know, it's what it means to you personally. It doesn't matter what it means to anybody else for you to balance, to feel good about yourself.
Why
I
do
think
people not find balance though? Why are people unbalanced?
Well, I think you said it, Teodora. You put a point on it that we all kind of missed, and you made it very clear. People look for it from the outside instead of from the inside, and they look for it especially in other people. I will have balance when I find the love of my life.
I've been saying talk about the inside.
I'll have balance when I find the right wife, which I'm still looking for. I'll have balance when I get the right job. When I have enough money, I'll have balance. I mean, listen, I know people that were out of balance when they were making 20 grand a year working at Walmart. And then all of a sudden their college degree kicked in. They got a great job. They're making $150,000 a year and they're still buried in debt and unbalanced. It's not about what we have around us. It's about what we do with it, with what we have inside of us. And let me tell you, if you're not balanced as an individual, you'll never be balanced as a couple.
Exactly.
Because what you'll do is you'll drag the other person down, trying to crawl to the center of their seesaw, Steve, like at the center of that seesaw, or who said it? Barry said the seesaw. Yeah, you'll be crawling to try to get to the center of their seesaw and throwing them off.
And just like I said at the beginning,
you got to be happy with you.
That's what I said at the beginning. All these things everything that happens, you have to go back to yourself and have these hard conversations. You go to the doctors and you fill out, what's your birthday? Do you have this? Have you had this? Have you had that? Most of the people can't answer the questions when you ask questions that are supposed to be personal to them because they've never even asked, what color do you like? I mean, what do you like on this day? Or what are your habits? I mean, people don't analyze themselves to realize that you are the problem. You are the core. Wherever's trouble, shit, you happen to show up. I mean, like, get a clue, people. It's all about, it's an inside job.
Scott, you spent a lot of time in front of people and meeting a lot of people, Bob, you as well, and I'm sure everyone else. But, how often do you run across people who have really, if you look at their lives, you'd say, wow, they've really achieved a lot, but they're still dissatisfied and not in a good headspace. I mean, how many times do you see that, Scott?
Unfortunately, way too often. I mean, the people that you think have it all, you wouldn't want their worst problems. I mean, you feel they've got this iconic life or they've got this whatever, and then you go into their house and there's no furniture. I mean, it's like it's an 8,000 square foot house with no furniture. It's like, did we forget something here or what? And I'm not being judgmental or critical, but it's the fact, you sit there and it is truly that inside job. And that's where I was going with everything from being where your feet are, is just unabashedly enjoy everything that you're doing as you're doing it. I love doing these shows. This is a blast. It's number one, you get to contribute. That part's fun, but the other side, you get to learn. Yes. And what a great experience to be able to part of the interchange. And I'm honored. Lynn said, how's your surgery today? I said, not. It was supposed to happen. It got pulled down. And she said, are you okay? And I said, sure. And she said, well, would you like to be on the show? I said, I'd be honored. And that's the truth. I'm honored to be here. Not everybody has the opportunity to be here. So when you have this opportunity, you honor that opportunity and you give it everything you've got, to provide something of value for people to consider. I mean, you can just as easily tell me I'm full of crap. That's fine. But I want to put out things for you to consider that you go, maybe that was a little thought-provoking or whatever. But you can't believe how many times you're sitting backstage with somebody who you've thought for years that you wanted to grow up and be,
Yeah.
and then you realized you are so glad you're not.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and you know, I gotta say, to add to that, and I like the part that you said about happy and enjoying yourself. Too many of us cause imbalance in our lives is when we put our happiness on hold.
Yeah.
Because
Again, that's what I was trying to say at the beginning.
we're always saying we're waiting for something that's going to make us happy. And it's indicative to what happens with high achievers, especially, is that we're waiting for the goal to be achieved before we can be happy, not realizing that it's the journey towards the goal is where your life unfolds, where you discover who you are, where only happiness can be found. I don't have time to tell this story, but I'll tell you, I've learned life lessons from a lot of famous people. And Rodney Dangerfield, whom I knew very, very well, and maybe someday I can tell the story, he was the unhappiest person in the world because he created a mindset that signified, I will not be happy until I reach a certain status in life. Unfortunately, it took him over 40 years to get there. And he was miserable the whole way there. And even when he achieved it, he couldn't enjoy it because that mindset stayed with him. And we do this to ourselves, and we do it on an unconscious level. The time to enjoy yourself is in the now, in the moment of whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Whether you're cleaning the garage, you're walking the dogs, you're dealing with the family matters, or you're at work trying to kick it up a couple of notches. That's your time to be. It's your right to be happy, but we put it on hold. And your subconscious runs 97% of your life. And if you're saying to yourself, I won't be happy until the weekend gets here, your subconscious, which is the genie of your soul, will say to you, okay, I could wait. We'll wait for the weekend for you to be happy. Meanwhile, the whole time during the week, you're finding things that are going to make you miserable.
Well, the
And
same
that's
thing
what
goes.
Great imbalance.
If you don't like taking care of the garbage, then realize I don't like taking out the garbage. So do something about it. If that doesn't balance you out or it makes no sense, like I said, we forget we have a mind that allows us to think anything we want and make the thoughts that make you happy and take it from there. We don't have to be stuck in our old patterns. We can create whatever we want.
And that's when focusing on gratitude helps.
Absolutely.
If you keep focusing on what's working rather than fixating what isn't working, you will find more balance in your life.
Get more of it.
That.
Well, and one of the things I mentioned before was about the meshing of things is to understand that there's times when I do things I don't want to do. And I can't spend my life doing only what I want to do because, then, I'll be sitting there watching reruns of Survivor, eating caramel corn, and just not doing very much with my life. But if I can make those connections and be aware of what I want in my life and who I am and what lights me up, then I'll realize those little parts that I don't like doing are lending itself to my happiness.
There you go.
In the succession of the things that I do. That's why I said, like the roller coaster ride. I know there's going to be ups and downs and everything else, but at the end of the day, I want the whole ride. I want it all. I want the thrills. I want the life. Now, Barry, it's really dangerous when people do this in relationships where they try to look for balance from other people, isn't it?
That is a massive trap. That is a piece because the problem is when you externalize your happiness and put it on somebody else, they become the puppet master. I did a series with a friend of mine called Cracking the Codependency Code, and we talked about the puppet master because what happens is we think they make us happy. Yes, you may be happy when you're around them, but they don't control your happiness. But the thing is, we get caught up in the mindset, and that's like Steve was saying, but putting things in the future, we put things in other people, and then it becomes an extremely risky place to be because you're basically like putting your heart outside yourself in a way, and they get to mess with it, and you just hope they do the right thing, and if they don't, you take it personally. This is one of the epitomes of codependency. The Jeremy Maguire thing. You complete me. That isn't accurate, but we believe it is. And the thing is, when we learn to put, as Steve was saying, be happy for no reason. Be happy first, and then add something to your life, somebody else in your life, but they don't take it from you.
I've corrected many times when I try to say, Scott, you make me happy. No, I can't say that. You know what I mean? You can't say that. You can't say anybody.
No, wait. That's different. I make everybody happy. Let's just go. That's different. Now, we're not going to start knocking Mr. Happy Man here, okay?
I love you, Scott.
Yeah, you control all the happiness. Yeah, right.
But I love that because, I always thought of it as you got two full cups of water that come together as a couple, and one person might pour a little bit into the other person, but they never empty each other. But when you have an empty cup and a full cup, this person wants it. Next thing you know, you got 2 half people, and they're both looking at each other saying, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But Bob, I'm going to hit you with a hard one though, Bob.
Okay.
You know, when you're helping people and when you're talking about things like moving to the next level and getting to the next level, you know, is there any of that? And this is, you know, there's no right or wrong to this, but is there any of that where you prepare them for, don't expect this to make your life better? I mean, it makes your life better, but don't expect this to heal everything in you. I mean, do you do any preparation with that with people, or is this, do you just kind of like when they get there, they'll figure it out?
Yeah, you know, it depends on the person I'm working with, but yeah, there's oftentimes that I start off by saying, look, if you're one of my coaching clients, you will hate me. You're going to hate me because 1, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. 2, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, whether it makes me popular or not. I'm not here to win a popularity contest. So you're going to hate me, but when you get the result that you want, you're going to fall back in love with me, and I'm good with that. So I'll write out you hating me to get you to the end where you love me. So yeah, a lot of times I'll do that, or a lot of times I'll say, do you realize that going to this event or going to this level or going to this new way of thinking and do you realize that you're going to have some friends not like you? And so you better prepare for that, because if all of your friends abandon you, and sometimes they do when you change who you are or you change your direction, you better have another support system. And that's where a great coach comes on. That's where great mentors come on. That's where great friendships come on. But yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of letting them know, because the next level pillar, unfulfilled expectations lead to anger, bitterness, resentment, frustration, and overwhelm. If they're expecting that once they take this magic pill, which there is none, they're going to feel better, they're done. And I want to help them. So that's a great point, Scott. Thanks for bringing that up.
Those are the same people, Bob, that want to like follow these guys on TV to say, "Oh, just make this phone call, and with $39, you could become a millionaire like me." And
that's a different show we need to talk about.
And you only have to work a half hour a day.
You have that number?
Yeah. You only get to work a half hour a day because everybody wants it, and they expect when they get that, then everything's going to be easy. The truth is that life becomes more complicated when you add more things. It's a simple fact. You get more stuff, it's more complicated. Do you want to handle that complication? If you do, God bless you, go do it.
Okay.
But if you're not ready for that complication, for God's sake, don't do it, because you're going to be miserable. Am I right, Bob?
Amen. I preach that definitely.
Teodora, a lot of people think money is the answer for everything. I'm sure they come to you.
That millionaire shouldn't be on TV, or would not be on TV doing commercials if there was a way to become a millionaire.
That's how he got to be a millionaire, by telling other people how to be a millionaire.
Hey,
and then they all bought it. They all sent him money, and now he's a millionaire.
Hey, even Oprah knew there wasn't a pill that she couldn't afford to buy, and so instead she got Weight Watchers. But that's another story.
There's this new trap people are falling into. Please don't fall into it, about internet real estate, and you can become a millionaire in 1 hour a day selling internet real estate, which is it's just another scam. It's just, please don't fall into it. But Teodora, I mean, a lot of people think that money is where their balance is going to be found, and if they could just fix this money problem, then they will be fixed.
They will be happy. I know so many times people think that money doesn't buy happiness, or money is correlated to happiness, and they don't find their balance because they don't have the money. Well, I want to clarify that money, in my opinion, does buy happiness, because you can buy so many things with money that will make you happy, help you be happy, go on vacations, help other people's be happy, and donate, and all the things. Would they make you happy inside if you're not happy? No, absolutely not. It has to come from within. But money does buy happiness, in my opinion, and I agree to that. But one thing about finding balance and related to money, if you have a money problem and you feel like you're not balanced, there's so many people with credit card or any situation they're in, it's okay to ask for help. If you can't find balance on your own, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, I have a problem. I have a shopping problem and I need help finding the balance back to where I need to be, so that I can have a normal life and be stress-free and be where I want to be. It's okay to find somebody that can help you, especially with money. I'm not saying necessarily borrow money, but find you where you need to be, put a plan together, find a way to get you out of that, find anything that works for you, working with you. And absolutely, it's okay to ask for help to find the balance that you need, including in financial. It's money is pretty close to oxygen, and we need it.
Well, it's funny because some successful people have really great stories on how they were dead broke and found a way to get out of the hole. So
they ask for help for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and I don't know about money buying happiness. I'll go with you on that. I will say what it does do, it buys you freedom. It does buy you freedom so that you can explore your happy places and do happy things. I do understand that.
Yeah.
But I also know that there's people with no money that somehow raise happy, healthy families that live fulfilled lives. I see more people when I'm out and working with people in the streets and doing things like that I do. I see more people with nothing helping other people than I see people with means helping other people. And it's not a judgment on anybody. It's simply a matter of you can be of service, you can be happy, you can be completely fulfilled without lint in your belly button or a dime in your pocket. You can be fulfilled. However, it does not say that I don't want to make more money. I do. Of course I do. I want to be successful. But my life is not contingent upon that. My happiness is not. But I do follow what you're saying, Theodore. And people should ask for help. For God's sake, don't wait until they're taking shit out of your house to ask for help. You
want to read this, Scott, from my friend Rich?
Let's see, Rich. Money helps, but it doesn't make you truly happy within yourself. True. Someone once told me that you need to be happy in your own backyard before you can be happy somewhere else.
Amen.
I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah, we can. Thank you, Rich.
An unhappy person leaving the house to go to work is going to be an unhappy person at work. You got to be happy with yourself in the center of all of your life, or else none of it's going to matter. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure helps. Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Well, we need to wrap this up in about 8 minutes because Scott Schilling's going to be leaving because I need to go to his mastermind right after this. I'm only going to go for a short time, but we got.
Well, Lynn, go ahead. Take over for a minute. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this. I missed so much of this this last week or two,
Yeah. So again, you guys, this has been a really great topic. Like I said all along, nobody was listening to me. No, just kidding. It is an inside job. It really is, What are you laughing at, Barry?
Your self-deprecating style.
I know. I'm goofy. Anyways, no, seriously, this has been a great topic because we all have a different perspective on what finding your balance is or what balance means or what it, but again, if we just spend more time with ourselves and get to know how we are and do things that make us happy and realize that you can find your balance. A definition for Bob or I or anyone else is different from, each individual, but it comes from your core things that are important to you and things like that. So I want to give everybody a quick 30 seconds to a minute to wrap up their thoughts and whatnot. So I'm going to start with Mr. Rizzo.
I say just everyone knows what it is. And a lot of people say they don't. You know what it is that makes you happy. Just go after that. And it really doesn't have anything to do with money. Some of the greatest experiences in my life is when I had to force myself to find out what would make me happy when I didn't have any money at all. And it was incredibly enlightening when I realized that it was so simple, the simple things in life that nourished me, that made me feel better. And it was that awakening that woke me up to say, okay, now it's time to make money. But it was because at one point that I was totally broke, where I found that you could be happy without it, that enlightened me to move forward and to become successful.
I love that, Steve. Thank you so much. Barry?
Something that Steve said earlier, he dropped the word gratitude in there, and I just forgot about it for a moment. If you find a place to be grateful, especially when you don't have the things you think you want, that's another key to happiness. Little prop. I've been keeping this gratitude jar, and I fill up every year. This is about 8 months in now.
I love
that.
Because that's
a precursor to his next book, people. Right there. That's his next book right there.
I mean, something I just do because I'm not a big fan of journals. Personally, writing journals isn't my thing necessarily. But to do things with like just get a piece of color paper and just do 3 a day, just write down 3 things a day you're grateful for and put them in a jar. You start to realize, oh my God, what's be grateful for?
You see, you can't.
Too.
Yeah,
I love that. I mean, he forgot for a minute for his gratitude, but he wasn't BSing. He's got lots of gratitude there. I love it. But you see,
next show, we're gonna dig in and read a few of them.
Yeah, we'd love that.
I think we should. Let's find out what's really going on in Barry's mind.
But you see, isn't that funny?
But just be clear about gratitude. Something to write down in there is like, I went on a hike this morning, which I do every single day. But I'm grateful for that because I just got out of the house, and because yesterday I had to have I had a mishap, so I basically thought I strained a muscle, like my calf really tightened up. But today I went hiking, it loosened up again. So I'm very grateful that I can go and exercise. It's not about I've got the big car or the new house. It's anything that makes you grateful.
Yes,
I love that. I love that. Teodora.
I would like to end with a famous quote by Zig Ziglar. Life is about balance. Be kind, but don't let people abuse you. Trust, but don't deceive. Be content, but never stop improving yourself.
Oh, you're awesome. I love you, Teodora. Thank you for showing up.
Such an honor to be here, you guys.
I love you. Scott Schilling.
I used to love Zig Ziglar with the Tigers in Vegas and Roy. No, is that the wrong guy? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tom took over now, though. But anyway, you really touched on it, Lynn. Is with your core values and who you really are, and know thyself. Know thyself and really get quiet and enjoy those times. I mean. It is the things, the little victories in life, and the celebrating the victories, Barry, with the gratitude jar. That's amazing. But it's stopping and smelling the roses, or even realizing there are roses there. We're all rushing around doing so much crud so fast. It's like hurry, 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 hurry. What? You miss so many great opportunities to just be grateful about silly stuff. And it doesn't take that much, but really know what tugs at your heart and really gives you that pitter pat. My wife hates when I say pitter pat for some reason, but something that makes your heart go pitter pat. I mean, that's one of those very special. Notice that, and then just do more of it.
Excellent.
Mr. Bob Donnell.
Yeah, final wrap up on that. I think the topic of the title is finding balance. And I think sometimes we forget to seek what it is that we call balance. Yeah. And if we'll just learn to be a little bit more patient with ourselves, embrace grace to ourselves, and then be still. I saw somebody else post, be still and know that I'm God, or be still and know. I think the idea of us just being to say, do I even know what balance is? So that when I'm seeking for it and I find it, I can continue to live in that state versus continue to chase something that either A, doesn't exist, or that we've missed along the way.
Love it.
Excellent.
Mr. Scott Jonesy.
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Last Thursday night, I got a phone call that's a client that I've worked with for over 7 years and who has had success in their recovery, lost their battle, and left 2 kids behind after a fentanyl overdose. A young girl in her early 20s who was just could have been a light in this universe. That would have been incredible, and we lost her. And that's why I chose on Sunday on my birthday to spend my day at the rehab working with clients and trying to find some spark of hope, because sometimes I get a little sad on that stuff too. But and I did find that spark. I found that spark in many people there. And I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes that went out. But really what's important to me is, listen, I could add anything I want to my life, but when you add something to a state of happiness, it tends to come in as a positive. But if you add something to a state of discontent, even if it's a good thing, it can be tainted and it could be twisted and it could become a negative and a weight. So start from your positive place, start from your happy place. always look forward, always have vision on the outside, but use the same amount of vision on the inside too, to make sure that your moral and inner compass is taking you in the direction that's going to keep you balanced. And God bless you all. I mean, I think you guys are all, again, you are wonderful people. I am honored that, a Tuesday night with you guys is, this is like a Saturday night watching Zeppelin. I mean, you guys are rocking it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you. Lynn, your turn. And I love you, Lynn.
I love you, Scott. I like I said, it's just amazing thing when great people come together to show that we are all different walks of life and we're all doing different things. And yet we take time out just to give value to people, to make them, this is as we all see it, but it's also you, the audience, how you see it. And if we given just a little crumb of seeing things a little bit different, that just means the world to us, because mission is accomplished. If we were able to just shake you up and make you think a little bit different, because every day we've got so much of the outside coming in, and we really need to be still and know ourselves. And when we know ourselves and we know our weaknesses, we're better to know how to handle the outside world. So, or the storms, right? The storms, the weather. I mean, there's so many analogies that you can talk about, as weathering the storms and all those things. And I'm just grateful that Bob and Steve Rizzo even said he's willing to, sit in when you're not here, Scott. It's just wonderful how we just all come together just to make sure that we're being as we all see it, and a safe place for all of us just to be able to be who we are and respect each other. And that means a lot to me. So
well said, Lynn. Well said.
All right. Love you guys. You guys stay right there. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. And again, we never know who's going to show up with us, and we're so blessed for that. So we have some new people that will be coming on here soon too. So we're excited. So have a good one, guys. And remember, just think about what makes you happy. And that's all we want for you guys. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.
Keeping me safe.